Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Doris. I'm a physical therapist, and today I'll be sharing 5 things I wish I knew as a new grad. First point I want to make is it's okay if your first job straight out of school is not perfect for you. I think coming out of PT school, in the back of my head, somehow I thought that my first job was gonna be the one, that I was gonna hit it right on the first try. I was gonna be there for years and years to come. I was gonna thrive there, and it was gonna be it, coasting my way through retirement. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. I stayed at my first job about a year, and now I am at a place where I'm much happier. It doesn't make you a failure if you have to pivot and make changes. It doesn't make you a failure if you didn't get it right on your first try, or your second, or even your third. So it's okay if your first job out of school is not perfect. The second point I wanted to make is that you are not stuck. In school, I thrived in my ortho classes. I love learning about the muscles and their actions. I love learning about different injuries and how to rehab them. So I always thought that I was going to be an outpatient rehab babe. I always thought that's where I was going to be, and that was it. But coming out of school, I just realized that I actually really enjoy acute care and working with the geriatric population. So I think it's very important to have an open mind. There are so many different settings. You could do aqua therapy, you could do pelvic floor, you could do vestibular, neuro, sports, pediatrics, geriatrics, home health. There are so many aspects of therapy, and that's one of the most beautiful things about the rehab profession. There's so many different settings that you can explore. It's all about finding where you thrive and where you can see yourself growing and becoming the best version of a therapist that you can be. And I think it's important to remember that in those times where you might find yourself in a job that you're not happy at. It could be that you need a change of setting, and don't be afraid to give another setting a try. Money. The next thing I wish I knew coming out of school was knowing my worth. So know your worth, because depending on which setting you're in, the pay varies. For example, travel physical therapy pays a lot, home health pays a lot. So different specialties, different areas, the rates are different, but whichever setting, whichever specialty that you are interested in, make sure to do your research. Use resources such as Glassdoor. I love going to Reddit. They have amazing threads on there about salaries in different cities, niches, different specialties. So I think those are great resources that are, freely available for you to check and see if the rate that you are being offered is fair and comparable to what others are making in your area. I think as a new grad, a lot of the times, the term new grad, people throw it around, and it's the baseline assumption that you should be grateful for anything that they offer you. Always negotiate, even as a new grad, because you are providing a service that is needed, and you have a license that you worked really, really hard for. So know your worth. Don't be afraid to negotiate and do your research. Imposter syndrome. That is something that a lot of us struggle with, in different careers, especially when you're young and you're just starting your professional life and you just start doubting yourself and questioning your skills. And the thing with imposter syndrome is a lot of times it's what stops a lot of us from taking risk, from being bold enough to, let's say, ask for a raise. It's important to address those feelings and to confront it head on, because otherwise it will keep you stuck and it will keep you from achieving, your highest potential. So that is definitely something I wish I knew right off the bat, because I do think that, fresh out of school, I did struggle a lot with imposter syndrome. The first few months of practicing as a therapist, and even now, there are moments where I have those thoughts trying to creep in, but then I have to remember, no, I worked hard for my license. I worked all the way through PT school. It wasn't just handed to you. So you worked hard for your license. So obviously you must know something. You must know what you're doing. So when those feelings come, it's important to remind yourself of those truths and to realize that no, I am a professional and I know what I'm doing and I know my worth. From a more personal aspect, my relationship with God encompasses every aspect of my life. So in those moments where I do feel imposter syndrome trying to creep in, then that is my cue to turn to God to remind myself of who I am in Him and the truth in His Word and what it says. And those truths help me to overcome those feelings when they come. No job is perfect. And if you're one of those people that's lucky enough to have a job where it's 100% roses and butterfly and sprinkles, perfect all across the board, then you're one of the lucky ones. But unfortunately, most jobs are going to have pros and cons. The most important thing is finding a job where the pros outweigh the cons. And only you can know at what point the pros and cons are balanced or if it's time to make a change. Evaluate whether the pros are in line with your core values or if the cons are significant enough where they are taking away from you. Those are questions that only you can answer and analyze your specific job and decide whether the pros and cons are balanced or if the cons are something that you can live with or if the pros make up for those cons. Lastly, I would want to note that it's a journey. Almost 2 years out of school, I'm still trying to find and figure out where I fit in the therapy world, and that's okay. It's important to not compare yourself to others, to your classmates, because I think when you do that, it makes you feel like you should be at a certain level by now, but everybody is on their individual journey, and that's okay. It's easy to just be so focused on the destination that we miss the beauty of the journey. And that is something that I'm even realizing right now, that sometimes I get so focused on the end goal, where I want to be and what I want to do as a therapist, that I forget that I'm in the journey right now and that I should enjoy every moment for what it is right now. I just hope that this encourages you to not look to others and to not compare where you are to where they are, but instead to appreciate where you are now, to give yourself grace, and to give yourself permission to enjoy the journey. So these are 5 things I wish I knew as a new grad physical therapist. I hope that, these points were somewhat helpful to you if you're a new grad or if you're just starting therapy school. And I hope that, these points encourage you in your journey and that you found them helpful. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see videos like this in the future. And I just want to say thank you for watching. Bye.